Good day, lads and lasses of the world. Who's ready for Railjack? Well, tough, it's not here yet. So in lieu of that, I'm bringing you a video that will contain the answer to questions I get asked all the time in regards to clans. That's right, this video is the beginner's guide to clans. What are they? Why do they exist? What do you get from them and what you can expect for them? And also why there's no Starbucks in them. And also why, even if you're a solo player, being in a clan is a good idea. Let's start with what are clans. If you've ever played a game like WoW or maybe any of those other type of MMOs out there, then it's safe to say you'll probably have experienced one of these sorts of community systems, such as guilds, or if you play EVE Online, maybe cores, or some such. These clans and guilds are a way for like-minded individuals within said game to get together and use in-game systems to communicate and organize themselves to experience the game they play together. Warframe is no different. Warframe's clans are by far and away one of the most intricate and functional of these systems I've experienced in any game, as the clans in Warframe are a core part of the gameplay loop should you wish to experience Warframe to its fullest, offering the player the ability to trade, socialize, obtain weapons and frames to push your mastery and weapon sets further, and that's just to name a few of the benefits you can get within the clan system. To get the most experience out of it, it's worth taking a bit of time to maybe explore what it has to offer, and in this video we're going to be going through as much of that as possible whilst retaining that new player friendly incentive we normally have. For the intents and purposes of simplicity, we're going to be talking about the beneficial elements you can obtain from being in a clan, and we'll be compartmentalizing this by starting with the part of being in the clan first, and then the second video we're going to make a bit later down the line is about building your own clan and the fundamentals of clan layout and all the other stuff that goes down to the nuances of putting a clan together yourself. So this beginning segment is about the subtleties of the rooms, what they provide, what you can get from a clan. The second video will be much more about the intrinsic nature of building it. So let's start with the foundations. Let's say you've just been invited to a fully functional clan with everything available. You won't be able to instantly jump into said clan, as it'll deny you access like a very eager bouncer. What needs to be done is to actually get in is to build yourself a clan dojo key, which can be done from your foundry. This has to be done every time you join a new clan, and will take 12 hours of construction time. Thankfully, the resources you need for this are pretty damn cheap, so it's something you'll just need to do, and keep in mind if you do wish to actually get in, otherwise you'll be like that one dude that gets locked outside of his house and gets arrested for breaking into his own home. Not that I have experience of that. Once into the clan, you'll spawn into a wondrous construct filled with many rooms and wondrous things you'll want to explore. And depending on the way your clan has laid out their structure, you might need to utilize the fast travel or the teleporters to adequately get yourselves around. These teleporters are placed to simplify the process of traversing said environment, and you'll find them all around the place, although the quick travel is through your escape menu. But for the sake of semantics, we're going to assume your clan architect doesn't have a brain made of mush and has some semblance of normality to the way they lay out your clan. Unlike my clan architects. Looking at you, Jason Gabibby. So as a member of a clan, let's take a look at what you have access to. Keep in mind, these rooms are the main rooms that provide a gameplay benefit of some kind. And the most of these rooms you are able to fast travel to via pressing escape and going to the fast travel menu, and should often, and more often the case be placed in and around the spawn point of where you would normally spawn in, and are usually quite obvious to tell via their square shape via your map. So all of these rooms we're about to look at will provide blueprints of some description depending on the room it is you're going into. These blueprints can then be replicated and then built from the foundry in your lander. If they are not replicatable, it means they are still needing research, which means you can then contribute your own resources towards them and then begin the process of researching them yourself. The resources required to fund these are then shared between your clan members, so you can either do it solo, or you can get your team together and try and farm those resources as a community. Either way, the purpose of these rooms are to provide you weapons, items, and things you'll need in your gameplay loop of Warframe. The first of these rooms we're going to talk about is the Energy Lab, a Corpus-themed room filled with lots of Corpus-y things, and the items you get by looking at the control panel are very Corpus-y themed as well. Bearing in mind, all of these rooms will give you access to energy pads, health pads, things that you can utilize in mission to regenerate certain aspects of your frame. Then you will have additional weapons and items that will come in use at some point or another. Each of these main research rooms will also have an item such as Fieldron that you'll be used to be crafting materials later down the line. More often than not, these are the materials required for the items from this research room. The second of the rooms, and probably one of the lesser interesting ones, is the Chem Room. Filled with a bunch of random things, this room is the one that will give you access to the ammo plates, as well as a couple of Arcwing components, and the very important Detonite Injector research material. This is, again, one of the resources you'll need to build most of the items from this room. And this is also probably the room with the least amount of things in it. So once you've got all these, you'll probably never have to come back here again. Unless for some bizarre reason you need Detonite again. And then we look at the Biolab, like an infested horror movie. This is where all the infested testing goes on. In this room, you'll get your hands on the mutagen mass and some event materials that you'll need for things like the Plague Star event. And this room also has your health plates, and additionally, possibly the most expensive research item in the entire game, the Hema, which at one of the highest levels will cost you literally 500,000 mutagen samples to complete. Ugh. And on to the final of the most pertinent rooms, and probably the most important of these initial rooms, the Tenno Lab. The Tenno Lab is the one you're going to be utilizing the most, as this is where you'll get a lot of your relevant frames, such as Banshee, Volt, Wukong, and the like. There are also a bunch of Arcwing equipment in this room as well, so you will likely be coming back here quite frequently, as well as for your Kavat mods, as well as also your Gravimag, for a lot of the gameplay loops you'll be getting later during the game. Additionally, in this room, you will notice that there is also a little area around the back here, which is where you submit your dyes to getting clan research done for your color schemes. And this one deserves an honorable mention, even though it doesn't really serve much of a purpose these days. It's the Oricon Lab, the one that looks a bit like a conservatory gone slightly wrong. The Oricon Lab used to serve much more of a purpose back in the day, but that's another story. Nowadays, this is the main place where you get your dragon keys from. Everything else you see on the window, it's not relevant. Don't waste materials on them. DE have a tendency of leaving stuff in the game that should have been taken out a long time ago. All you need to know is that this is where you get your dragon keys for the corrupted Void Derelict missions. And last but kind of not least, there is technically one more, the Vault Room. Now, the Vault Room is very subjective based on the clan you join, and will often be different in every clan you join, as the Vault is not necessarily a room in of itself. The Vault is the object that your clan can submit their items to. So if they feel like donating credits, resources, decorations, this is the room that will have this object in it. And is usually then followed up with a trading post as well, that will allow you to trade between your teammates or people who you invite to trade with. Often, this is going to be the room that you're going to have your spawn point in as well, and will be the room that you'll sort of base yourself in initially. Depending on the clan, sometimes this will be a bit neater, sometimes you'll have a room full of domestic drones for some reason, but this is one that will never look the same regardless of what clan you're in. And the last of the major gameplay affecting rooms is the Drydock. This room is basically mandatory if you plan on being a captain of your own railjack. As of this video, the railjack hasn't officially been released, but once it is, if you plan to launch yourself as a captain to do missions as a railjack captain, then you will need this room. Without it, you can still technically join the railjack missions, you'll just be a crew member instead. Keep in mind, to get access to this room, your clan can build it, but then it is you that needs to build the railjack itself, but that's a video we have separate to this, so I would recommend watching that if you want to know how to build that. And now we're going to kind of take a look at some of the more secondary rooms that aren't necessarily mandatory, but are worth knowing about if nothing else. The first of which is the Crimson Branch, which sounds kind of like the FBI decided to put their own space in your clan, but this is the room you need in order to trade other people's Kuva Liches. So if you've got a Kuva Lich you may not want, or you might want to get into the Kuva Lich trading program, then this is the room you do so with. Another of one of the more optional rooms, but one that's kind of fun nonetheless, is the Dueling Room. One where you will place wagers on who can beat the living hell out of each other first. This is the room which, by its namesake alone, should tell you what you do in it. You can duel each other, you can test abilities, you can just have a bit of fun PvP against each other. It's one of those kind of rooms that you're not really going to see much practical use of, but is a fun one nonetheless. The next room is the Observatory, and it's probably one of the more pertinent of the secondary rooms, as this is sort of like the head of your dojo. It's where all the magic happens. This is also the only room where your arsenal can spawn if you decide to put one in, and is pretty much like the Observatory of your lander, where you use this room to go and set yourself on missions if you don't fancy going back to your lander to do that instead. This is also one of the rooms where you can just sit down and have a good old relax and make it look like you've made some kind of military might that heads itself up in the front of a ship somewhere. And this last little segment, we're going to combine two rooms together because they're kind of the same thing, just with different execution. You've got the obstacle courses. You have the main obstacle course, which is a set obstacle course that you can set yourself on to get time trials. Or you have the obstacle course architect that allows you to build your own obstacle course. The entire point of these rooms is to have an obstacle course, go figure, that you can set yourself and your teammates challenges to try and complete them as fast as possible. And then whoever has the fastest time clearly has the biggest e-bean. This is kind of a fun room, and it's kind of nice to be able to test your jumping skills, your bullet jumping, and how efficient you are at the movement and trajectory within the game. Realistically, these are the main rooms. However, you can then additionally have a multitude of other rooms and halls and corridors, which, whether you use these for the cosmetic purpose or functional purpose around your ship, or have them built for the purposes, can provide, if nothing else, a rather visually pleasing environment to be in. I mean, if you want an example of clan building to its finest, check out the featured clans on the star chart to really get an idea as to what can be done with clans and to the biggest extent they can be. But being that this is a beginner's video, we just want you to know that being in a clan means, and if you want to know about building your own clan, then check out part 2, which we'll have up soon, I hope, TM, assuming Drydock doesn't drop soon. So the ideology behind clans is that although it is a social aspect of the game, like any other guild or clan system in Warframe, you'll notice that you'll be missing out on a good 40% of all the items within the game, and a good few core systems, such as the railjack, and the convenience of trading without needing to go to Mara's Bazaar. But is at its system not mandatory. You don't need to be in a clan. You don't need to have access to all these items. At the end of the day, Warframe is about down to what you want to obtain. And should you not wish to, then there's no real necessity to do so. But let it be known that if you do not join a clan, you are kind of missing out. And hey, if you don't want to join a clan, you can then, in theory, make one yourself. And that's kind of what the next part of this clan video will be part of in part 2. There's definitely nothing stopping you building your own clan, as the clan system scales based on the amount of players in said clan. So it is possible to build your own and rely on your own endeavors for the research, and see the clan dojo as more of an extension to your lander more than anything else. But obviously, if you want to get the most out of it, it is far easier getting your teammates together, having other people join your clan, and then having it as a team endeavor to make sure you get all the research done and actually make a clan dojo that's worth being in. And that's the video. I hope this has been a rather informative introductory video to clans. Obviously, it's not the most narratively or informative focused video. It's more of a video that's intended to help new players understand exactly what you can get out of a clan dojo. I'll have a link down below as to all the items you can get out of them, as there are a number of them. And if you have liked the video, tell me what your favorite part of being in a clan is about, whether it's the copious amounts of endo you get from the ascension ceremony, or whether it's just the utility of trading. Either way, if you've seen a good clan, I'd love to see that as well. Maybe I'll even do some clan challenges in the future. But thank you for watching the video, guys. Do make sure you leave a like, share, and subscribe, and all that other good stuff. And if you feel like joining these fellow top hatters you see behind me, then we record these on stream so that you can come and join us as well, should you wish. And I'll see all of you top hatters in the next video. Ta-ra!